Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Peacock Christmas movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Peacock Christmas movies.
I'm Alonso, and I thought we were pronouncing it Peacock.
And the Deck the Hallmark Podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host this podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Wow. Hello,
boy.
everybody. How are we? How are we?
Man, doing great.
I
Bran.
think
How
so.
about you?
I think we're doing
Yeah,
great.
it's a Monday.
Yep.
Here in the studio. Man, very exciting. And I just found out, we were talking about this. You know, I'm going to London later this month.
London.
Yeah.
London,
I am
Dan.
going to fly back just for the Monday episodes.
I know you are.
I'm flying back to make sure I'm here for the Monday episodes. And that's how much this means to me.
Yep.
Is my family. It's our first time ever in Europe. And I'm like, you know what, guys? I need to be live in studio.
Let's put a pin in this.
Real quick. Monday morning, I'll be with the time changes like I won't even be gone.
Yeah.
It's just going to be so quick.
Easy.
But I'll be here.
You will be England Dan without John Ford Cole.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Oh,
And no one's going to get
Yeah.
that reference who is under the age of 50. You're
England
welcome.
Dan without John Ford
listen,
Coley. You know,
Alonso, you're speaking my love language.
if-
you know me.
if it's
You
a day
know
where
me.
Brand doesn't mention John Ford Coley, I'm like, what is going on?
No,
around here?
they call me the Coley.
Look, I'm here for the yacht rock quips.
Yeah.
You know, I don't
Sure
know what you
are.
want.
Sailing.
You're here to shred. I know that about you.
Also that.
I know
Also
that
that.
about you. It's March. Congratulations to everybody. We've made it officially
Yeah.
to March. It's madness. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's Christmas.
It's March 4th.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas. Sure, why
It's
not?
Christmas. It's Christmas Mondays.
March the 4th be with you.
Thank you. Alonso, any fun Christmas related things that you've heard are in production or might be coming out later this year that you are especially excited about?
Yeah, there's a couple things that have already been sort of bobbing around. There's a comedy called Naughty with Olivia Munn that apparently was the object of a bidding war that's people are very
Can you
excited
say
about.
naughty one more time?
Naughty. Speaking of Richard Curtis, who we'll be talking about today, he's got something called That Christmas, I believe, that's coming on Netflix. The long-awaited Red One, is that what it's
Red
called?
One with The Rock.
Red One with The Rock and with one of the Chris's, I want to say. And J.K. Simmons as Santa. That could be really cool. And, we're over on Hallmark. We already know we're getting Aaron Krakow and Daniel Lissing.
I mean, come on.
That's exciting.
Come on.
Big show.
That was a great rundown, Alonso. I'm as excited as I am to continue going through the 2023 crop. It feels wrong not to be even more excited about what's coming out this year. There's so much coming out. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
It's very exciting. But we, of course, can't get to those things without talking about Genie first. It's time to talk about Genie.
Man, that's never a good sign. Christmas stands out there. If Brand says any movie title like that, it's not a good sign for you.
Yeah.
Let Genie first.
Let's talk about Genie. It originally aired, dropped, as the kids say, November 22nd, 2023 on the Peacock. And it went a little something like this. We meet Bernard, not the elf from Santa Claus. He's his own man. He's a hardworking fellow at an auction house. He works so hard, in fact, that he misses his daughter's birthday because he had to stay late at work that evening. And when he finally shows up, his daughter is asleep. And he doesn't even have a gift for her because the stuffed bear that he had fell off the scooter on the way home. And that's not even what she would have wanted if she was awake. She wants a dollhouse. You would know that if you were ever around. And this is the last straw. His wife takes his daughter and they leave immediately. The next day, he asks his boss for some more time off during the holiday season so he can try to work on his family. His boss tells him, you can take all the time that you need to, in fact, never come back.
Oh,
So he gets fired, and that's sad. So he's having a tough time. He's sad. And he gets to his empty house and is looking at this antique box that he had given his daughter as a birthday gift, because that's all he had. And he knows it's a bit dusty, so he dusts it off with his shirt sleeve.
He rubs it the right way.
And suddenly, this blue light begins to gush out of the box.
Oh, it's a genie in a bottle, baby.
Out of the bottle now. Also, I just acted the heck out of that. Philo.tv/DTH if you want to see that. I thought that was really good.
And your magic shirt, too. A lot of blue.
I know.
Yeah.
It's magic. I got
Every
the
little thing you do is magic.
It's a theme.
I got the magic in me. And so that happens. And suddenly, a woman comes from around the corner. And she's like, I'm a genie. My name is Flora. And he's like, come again now? And she's like, you make wishes. I make them come true. He's not believing her, so he mockingly wishes for a camel. And what do you know? A camel appears.
Hump day?
That's exactly right. A camel does.
What day it is?
What day is it?
Hump day?
There you go. Hump day?
Movie night.
Appears in the apartment. We find out that real genies offer unlimited wishes, unlike the fairy tale stuff of 3 wishes.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Stupid.
Although that does come into play later. After coming to terms with the fact that he now has access to an unlimited well of wishes thanks to this genie, he realizes that he wants to use Flora to fix his marriage and get his family back. But when they do show up at outside of his mother-in-law's house, his wife is like, I don't think you should be here. I don't think you should be here. Get out of here. And I don't know what this woman is here with the jewels and whatnot, but you need to scram. I don't want to be around here. So Bernie decides, you know what? I'm gonna treat myself. So him and Flora walk around New York City, having a good time. He's showing her all of the amazing things that have happened because she hasn't been out of her antique box for 2,000 years. So a lot has happened. Pizza, lights, the whole thing. And she doesn't even know about Santa Claus. And when they see a Santa on the streets and the kids are making their wishes to Santa, they make all those wishes begin to come true, and that's magical and wonderful, and so yay for them. He meets up with his family, and they have some time together drinking hot chocolate and whatnot, and he finds out that they're going to go to a movie with another dude and his daughter. He is not thrilled by this. And to make matters worse,
What? I'm hanging on every word.
Oh, that family. Got it. His family, they leave, but then his extended family shows up at his apartment.
Yes.
I said his family left, and then I immediately read his family shows up, and I'm like, what? So his parents and all sorts of different people, they show up, and obviously has Flora whip up a bunch of food, and then says, hey, here's the thing, Flora's a genie. I don't know what to tell you. And they do this funny, like, wishing scene where they wish for things, like somebody wishes one of them would go to hell, and that's
classic.
a big funny ha-ha moment. So they leave, and he decides, okay, I need to make some changes, maybe to the apartment. Maybe that would make things more appealing for my wife, and maybe she would come back. And so, some changes here and there, starting, of course, with the messy jersey that he has framed in the living room. So he says, I wish that this was the Mona Lisa. And apparently that swapped the real Mona Lisa with the messy jersey. So the messy jersey is now hanging where the Mona Lisa was. And
where would that be, Bram?
The Louvre.
So the family comes to the apartment, and it's a great night. But after they leave, one of the room catches on fire. Flora isn't there to help, though, because she's at the theaters watching another Tom Cruise movie. The fire department shows up, and they recognize the Mona Lisa, which they now know is missing, and they're like, this looks like the real thing, so they call the cops. He gets arrested. Flora shows up. She gets arrested, too, but don't worry. He just kind of yells out a wish that they'd all get released, it would all go back to normal, and it happens. The painting is once again swapped with the jersey, and they are released. So that's the end of that. Just in time, too, because he's supposed to spend Christmas Eve with his daughter, which they do. Bernard now decides, after realizing that Flora just wants to live life, decides I'm going to give Flora a Christmas gift, and that gift is for
Aladdin to wish the genie free.
That's exactly right. I'm going to wish that you don't have to go back into this box.
Then Jafar gets a hold of the genie, and it's a mess.
She is so happy, and she says, if ever this were to happen, we all know the rules here, but you get 3 more wishes. And so he then accidentally makes her disappear before he can say goodbye. He wishes to go back in time, which was a thing that he was told he couldn't do, but then was told that he can actually do. So he goes back to the beginning of the movie and quits his job, doesn't have to stay late, gets his daughter to the dollhouse, takes him to a wonderful dinner, and honestly, it works out perfectly for them. They have a wonderful Christmas together. Fast forward 3 months, they're still happily married, and he goes to a pizza place, and guess who is running that pizza joint? It's Flora, and that, my friends, was Genie!
We did it.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Are you okay?
Bye, everybody.
It's
We're going to
only
break.
Monday.
Take the homework. Hi, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
It's great to be here. We're talking Genie.
Genie.
2023 Peacock joined Melissa McCarthy.
Richard Curtis. Who wrote it, correct? Didn't direct it, but wrote it, right?
Correct. Yes.
Let's talk about it. This was a movie that I heard some murmurings of during the holiday season, but I didn't get to.
It's a remake as well.
It's a remake of the, what was it, 1991, I believe, BBC joint.
Okay.
Let's break the Peacock version down, though. Alonso, what'd you think of Genie?
I'm not mad at this movie. It's cute. It's got some good laughs. It is, family appropriate, and there's some fun ideas here. I just have an ongoing annoyance with the let's punish the parents who work too hard scenario, because frankly, we are all mired in late stage capitalism, and everyone is being overworked to try and keep food on the table, or in this case, to keep a beautiful and huge Manhattan apartment.
Yes.
And so the whole thing of like, let's punish dad for spending too long at the office and not enough time with his family. It just is that kind of thing that to me smacks of like clueless movie executive or successful writer director who does not have to think about these things, and who either is spending time at the office willingly and like makes these movies to make it up to their own kids, or is well recompensed enough that they're able to like take time off and do things and stuff. So this movie treats the notion of like too much work, no work at all, with a very kind of cavalier attitude that just bugs me, because I know a lot of loving parents out there, and if they're spending a lot of time at work, it's because they would like their children to eat. So that just always bugs me in these movies, and it bugged me here. But for the most part, a lot of fun, and certainly one of the better non-R-rated Melissa McCarthy projects.
Well, I'm not doing my hot take yet. I just wanted to piggyback on that. They treat this guy's job like it's a choice. Like he doesn't have to do this. He's just chosen this over his family. And then when he decides he's quitting his job, everything stays the same. Their status stays the same. Their apartment stays the same. And that is, to your point, Alonso, becoming more and more glaringly weird. The further we go along here. And so that was,
and it also ties into the, all right, you've got unlimited wishes, then get a lot of money.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to work and you can spend all your time with your kid,
easy.
Yeah.
I found myself being charmed by the movie to begin with, and I was enjoying it. And I found the Christmas of New York City, of course, to be wonderful. Until we get to the Mona Lisa of it all. And then I was really annoyed. I was annoyed that it happened, and it could not matter less to what happens in this movie. And it is a full, let's take a really weird exit to this town of Mona Lisa switch 'em ups, and let's hang out there for a while and kind of see what we can see, and then we'll leave and we'll never talk about it again, and that'll be that. And after that, we then have this realization of Melissa's Genie being set free.
Genie?
And her dropping a bombshell here of, well, now that I get to be free, you can get 3 more wishes.
And
we all
you
know
can
that.
travel back in time.
And you can
time
travel back in time. And that was the final straw for this one with me. I just was frustrated because I just felt like we have so much at our disposal when it comes to a genie with unlimited wishes and a father who's trying to get his family back. And this was the best. We had all this, and this was the best story we could come up with. I just didn't. None of it just didn't fit for me. I liked the idea of it a lot, and I liked the Christmas of it all, which, by the way, I really liked the apartment when it was decorated for Christmas before the genie made it all, whatever. Like, the original decorations were way better, but that's neither here nor there. So, yeah, I was just kind of frustrated because I felt like we had the makings of something really great, and then it just said, let's just not explore the best possible case. Let's do this really maybe funny Mona Lisa switch 'em up bit, and then also give you 2 things that you had no idea about when I first came into your life.
Yeah.
And so I was frustrated. And I don't know how much of that is true to the original Genie. We did some, Aaron did some research and found out that the Mona Lisa bit is in the original. And so, you know, if you're making a remake, you can, like, how much of it can you really change and still call it the Genie? So I get that. But yeah, I found myself being frustrated because the first half of this movie I found to be quite charming and really enjoyed. But what can you do? Dano?
Yeah, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed, I think, is what I would say. Richard Curtis wrote this movie, whom I think does some really fun stuff. About Time, I really love that movie. He wrote and directed that. The people involved, the actors involved.
Little film called Love Actually.
Yeah, Love Actually, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, among others. I think About Time's his best work, but that's neither here nor there. I didn't like the Beatles one. What was that called? Hello? Yes.
Oh, yeah, Yesterday.
That's what it was called.
Yesterday.
Good for you. I think my problem is that exactly kind of what you said, Bran. You have everything here.
You have unlimited wishes.
You have everything here for a movie that plays out the way you want it to play out. And instead, they do everything except for the thing. They make it up as they go along, which drives me crazy. We have another podcast called The Decom Descendants, where you and Aaron Shea and myself review all the Disney Channel original movies. It's a great pod. You should check it out. We review one. It's not out yet, but one of my big complaints with that movie was I don't care if the plot is crazy. I want the rules that you've given me to make some sort of sense. And this movie is commits that cardinal sin. Like, it's unlimited wishes. You can't time travel. You can't time travel. Now you have 3 wishes. Like, it doesn't, look, I'm not asking for a serious movie. I'm asking for you to create the parameters for us to have fun and for there to be stakes. That's all I'm asking for. And they don't do that. And then that part of it was really tough. And then they get sidetracked with what I can only describe as 15 minutes of WTF, the Mona Lisa. I don't like it. It is so crazy that we spend as much time. I mean, Luis Guzman shows up like as a detective. Like it is like a Mad Lib. And so there are some funny moments when he has his family over. There's some laughs to be had, but by and large, tonally, the movie's all over the place. They don't commit to any set of rules. And so that because there's no rules and anything can happen and there's no stakes, I wasn't really moved to any emotion at the end of it. So yeah, considering everyone involved with it, really disappointing effort here. Just not for me.
Also, early on in the movie, I was looking down at my computer taking notes, and Melissa started talking, and I heard a bit of Aquafina, and then I just kept thinking, I wish Aquafina was in this movie. So that happened, and that's just a me thing. Well, that's good.
And if you'd had a genie, she would have.
Absolutely, I would have wished it.
There you go.
I would have wished
Easy.
it. It's time for all the feels where we talk about what gave us those feels in this movie. A Christmas movie takes place in New York. Of course, there's some feels to be had. Alonso.
My big feel was the fact that Ben Falcone is not in this movie. And I was rather delighted by that. Ben Falcone is married to Melissa McCarthy. He's a funny guy. She is a funny performer. But together, everything they've done together since Bridesmaids, either he's directing her in some of her worst movies or he pops up in weird cameo appearances in her movies. And it's always just like, y'all are great, please work separately. And so the fact that like Mark Maron played the doorman and not Ben Falcone, I thought was a real sign of growth here. And just on that note, like the deep bench of character actors here was so fun. Like Danae Benton, I don't know if y'all watched The Gilded Age. I had never seen her not wearing like a bustle and a bonnet. So took me a minute to recognize her because she's in that show that's like very late 19th century. LaShawns is her grandmother, Broadway legend. You've got two of the very few amount of black women who've ever been regular cast members on Saturday Night Live. Right. You get two of them in the same scene, Ego Woodham playing the daughter of Ellen Cleghorn. Yep. Luis Guzman, Alan Cumming, like bam, bam, bam. Really just like I love when, if you're going to spend this kind of money on a movie and you're going to chintz out on the special effects, which let's face it, they do.
Magic
at least let's have some checks for some great, like, New York actors that you could get in there. So that was my feel, was just like seeing who else was going to pop up in this thing.
Yeah. My feel was obviously New York Christmas time. I thought the day that they spent out in the city was really nice just for my Christmas heart. But I also thought Mark Maron was delightful in this movie.
Yes.
And really liked the scenes that he was in and wasn't trying to do too much. And it was perfect. I love that. Yeah. Loved it.
My feels literally says Mark Maron, no Ben Falcone feels. It legitimately, you can't make that up. It says that. Also, Ego Nwodum is wonderful in this movie, but Mark Maron, who clearly is there as a favor, like he's like, yeah, I'll come do your thing. You know what I mean? Like Mark Maron's not that he's not a guy that like is probably out there trying to get roles. This is probably like I'm doing this movie around the corner and I'm friends with Melissa McCarthy. Like I'll just come and do this for a day or whatever. And he seems to just not like be doing it Mark Maron style. Like he's very like, and I remember like he does a voice in The Bad Guys, cartoon movie that my kids love. And like, I feel like we might need more of him in movies, which I never thought I would say, but I felt like he was fun. Go ahead.
He's done some indie work. He did a couple films with the late Lynn Shelton, I know. So he does pop up in things, and he's also really good in that Netflix show Glow.
Oh yeah, he is good in Glow. That's right. It's like the skeevy manager, right?
Yeah, this was the only thing I had seen him acting, and I've of course heard his podcast, and that's how I know him. But I thought he was.
Well, if you listen to him on his podcast, you would be it sounds like he would be fine never doing it. Like that's just his thing. But him being in that role was fun. I thought the scene with the family, especially Ego Nwodum, and that whole like I wish you'd go to hell thing was really really funny, and the way she played it was great. So yeah, that stuff worked for me better than really anything else.
It's time for us to take a break. We'll come back with the wait, what, and...
Sorry. My bad.
Back to Hallmark.
Where'd Bran go?
Hi! We're back. We're talking about...
See the entirety of your back.
Yeah.
Like just the whole blue shirt.
But
like
did it look good? But you
great.
can blue screen that out, right?
You can.
Brand, that was your second really great hiding prank of today.
Thank you. Not as good as the first
we were
one.
all
but
going out to lunch or something.
The first one was really good.
You guys all decided to hide from me and scare me.
He was so scared.
And I saw it the
like
whole way to the car.
He was a little baby boy. He fell right down on the ground. Little baby boy.
Did you cry?
Yeah,
you need to cry, Dan? 1, 2, 3, cry.
You need the ambulance.
Nailed it.
When I bring up Bruce Willis as the kid all the time.
Yeah.
You and me.
Yes.
We just talk about it.
I'm not a huge fan of the movie, but I do talk about it with you.
I'm not either.
Okay.
But I do love that line. Anyway, What we talking about? Oh,
Wait, what?
Genie.
Yes, that's right.
We're talking about Genie, and it's time for the Wait What. It's where we talk about what in this movie is go wait what, and I'm going to rub my lamp and wish that Alonso would go.
With the usual caveat that you get whatever you want. With the usual caveat that movies that are
It's
about
so hard.
magic,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of logical leaps, but yeah, the time travel one is a big one. Like if you lay a rule down, you really
Yes.
have to follow it or have some excuse not to, and that just felt cheap. So yeah, mine really all kind of came at the end. So when he finally, he uses a second wish to get them into the great crowded restaurant for the daughter's birthday, and you see them ordering their dinner, and he gives his order, and then the wife gives her, and I'm like, no, waiter is going to take the man's order
not
first.
happening.
He's always going to start with the lady.
Gosh.
He might even start with the young lady, but he's not going to start
Ingrained in me from a young child to never literally, like when I was out to eat, like my mom had to order,
Yes.
like literally, like I've tried to somewhat unteach myself that in just normal circumstances because it just is like this thing that is going to happen. Like it's just going to happen.
Yes.
No,
So if
go
this is a
ahead,
schmancy
Aaron, go
restaurant
ahead.
that's too cool to
I'm just
have.
gonna back you up, Dan. When we go out to eat, you always.
I always look at Aaron like,
Yeah.
we're all out to eat and I'm always like, they come over and I'm always like,
You?
like it is
Yeah.
just a very, just like riding a bike. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, Dan's always like, the lady will
I
have
order,
the spaghetti
I order for
carbonara
any
and a
females
Mountain
that eat.
Dew.
That's true. I don't ask Aaron what she wants. I just order for her.
Yeah, I've tried many new things because Dan's just like,
That's
this
right.
is what you're gonna
This
get.
is what
today.
you're ordering today. Here you go.
And you're going to
That's
like
right.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if this place is too schmancy to have peanut butter sandwiches and cherry ice cream on their menu, I think they're going to be fancy enough to ask the missus what she's having. And then, yeah, just at the end, the fact that like 3 months go by and they're both just sitting on the sofa chilling out. I'm like, does anyone have a job?
That was my
it's very
immediate thought.
disconcerting.
It was they're sitting around like, look how much better life is without work. They're sitting around like, ever since you quit your job, this apartment just feels like it's filled with more life.
Yeah, like I thought they'd be on the sofa, and I thought maybe the camera's going to pull out, and they were like under the Triborough
Yeah.
Bridge, But no, they're still in the
It's
apartment.
unbelievable,
so.
man.
I only have a couple. One, I guess this specific AMC theater only plays Tom Cruise movies.
Yeah.
Because it's playing both Mission Impossible and Top Gun.
The original, not Maverick. The
It's
original.
just
yeah.
it's Tom Cruise week. We'll play a different one every week, which is great for her, seeing as how she loves them. Which was a really funny bit. But yeah, I did get a good chuckle at that. And to everyone's point about this movie is really hard on people that have to work. They are on a magic carpet and they are riding around New
They're
York
on a
City.
green screen is what they're
And
on.
when you have this opportunity to be on magic carpet, he decides I am going to make a poster board. I'm going to write "Go home, it's Christmas,"
Yes.
and go up to people's windows that are working and show them the sign and shame them. And like, man,
Hey, gang, let's heckle the wage
like,
slaves.
bro, you don't know their situation. Maybe they don't have a family. Maybe this time of year, it's really hard on them and they just want to be at the office and just try to focus on this thing. You don't know their situation. So to go...
Maybe they're Jewish,
Yes, there's so many
Like, come
different
on.
reasons. And so...
Go heckle that guy's boss who
Yes,
made him stay in the office.
absolutely. Not this poor guy that we don't know what he's gone through, why he's working when he's working. And to have the one opportunity to do the thing that as kids, when we see Aladdin, we're like, magic carpet, can you believe it? To go, I'd like to
Fly
use
window
this,
to window.
go
to
window
spy
to
on
window
people working.
and tell them that work sucks. I know.
Drag the proletariat.
Dan?
Oh, wait.
Oh,
I have
go
one
ahead,
more.
Alonso.
I just thought of this. If he goes back and undoes
it is.
everything, that means the Bowery mission is not getting $100 million.
Correct. Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
It's on my list, but you're right. The giant check
Oh,
for
sorry, I
charity.
didn't
No,
mean to-
it's a great one. I got others. Yeah, he undid a lot of good there. Which in any time travel movie, just going back and getting a do-over and it working the first time, has that ever happened in the history of time travel movies? Where it's just like, I need a do-over. Oh, it worked this time. Great. That's all we need.
Look, Dave just watched all 3 seasons of La Brea, and apparently, like, everything we know about time travel is wrong. You can go back to the Stone Age and build a skyscraper, and it's not going to affect history.
Wow. Now I have to go and watch this because that.
No, you don't.
It's true. I don't. Let's talk more about the magic carpet, shall we? It is him, the genie, and his daughter, and the daughter falls asleep on that magic carpet. No. How long have you been flying around? Days? If my 7-year-olds were on a magic carpet, it would take literal years. They would break all boundary of psychology. Their brains would function at a level you've never seen before. They would stay awake for days. Magic carpet? They'd stay awake for days on end. Not enough melatonin in the world. This girl's
you
like,
put them in the back seat of the magic carpet, and then they just go right.
This girl's, she's on a magic carpet for a half hour. She's like, all right, I feel like we've done this. I'm gonna have to. It's past mine.
Once you've sorted around New York City on a magic carpet for 5 minutes, you've seen it all.
Yeah, you've seen it all.
Big Apple, small city.
I was appalled that this guy gets a genie with unlimited wishes. He goes to his wife and kid one time. She says to leave, and he's like, well, I guess it's free time hullabaloo in New York for a half hour. He literally tries one time, and then for the next 30 minutes of the movie, he's like, you want to see the Big Apple?
And he also tried one time with no plan.
With no plan.
Like it was, can you get me to them?
And then it's like, I did all I could do. You've got to see the Rockefeller tree. I know it's been 2,000 years. You've got to see the tree, and we got to go shopping, and we got to go see Santa, and we got to learn. Like, that was the biggest, like, if you have unlimited wishes, like, you're like on it. Like, you're just like, money this, material that. How do I get my kid back? And I thought it was going to be this, let me buy him all this stuff. That doesn't work. Right. Let me buy him a house. That doesn't work. Oh, it's just me. It's not about the wishes. Not this movie. Not this movie at all. No. It still was about the gift at the end. He got the dollhouse for her. It's ridiculous.
Not as big of a dollhouse, though.
True.
It's not the size of the dollhouse that matters.
Not one that dwarfs his
that's
child.
Right. Yeah, that's not a room.
That was the lesson.
We did find out.
I do need to get her a dollhouse, but possibly a normal one will do.
Yeah, I guess.
But one that fits on the scooter. Right. Let's not get
snowing.
crazy.
It's not going to get ruined. I promise.
Speaking of which, I do love that a stuffed bear falls off the scooter, but a big dollhouse
He's
doesn't.
Just hooking it under one arm.
It's
here.
secured by the same straps. He gets a do-over.
He's using a bungee cord.
It's a do-over.
It's a do-over. It's a do-over. Everything works on a do-over. We know that. 2 more quick ones. One, we did find out that this happens in the original movie, which is probably why it's in here, but it is nonetheless jarring when, with 10 minutes or less left in this movie, Genie drops the bomb that they just are friends with Jesus Christ. They just casually throw out, well, you know, like my boy JC, and then they proceed to kind of sort of quote a Bible verse in this movie. In this Richard Curtis Genie Christmas movie, they have the gall to bring Jesus and Bible verses to the table with 10 minutes left for literally no reason aside from to bring Melissa McCarthy to tears. It is one of the weirder scenes I think I've ever seen in a Christmas movie. It was pretty wild.
This movie acknowledges the divinity of Jesus and the existence of hell. I don't know what people want.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's like we just are trying to. It's like almost like Christians are complaining for no reason.
It's got to be your interpretation, translation, or go.
I will say this is now the second best Angel Studios movie I've seen, so it's good.
Behind that Jim Caviezel one, of course. Just kidding.
I gotta put Palaha at 1. Yeah, I gotta.
Yes.
You better.
You better. That's why we don't rank these movies. That's why I'm not a big list guy, and I've said that for years, right, Alonso?
Always,
one more.
Always.
At the end of the movie, Mark Maron, I guess, is now in love with Genie, and they run Pizza Parlor down the street. And the way we find that out is that their husband and wife are sitting around in their fully furnished, ginormous Manhattan apartment with no jobs, laughing at how great life is. And she's like, maybe we should order out for dinner. And he's like, yeah. And she says, maybe we shouldn't do pizza again. And then he says, but it's the best pizza in the world. And she goes, you're right. Get the pizza. I've never seen that 180 before, ever in my life. My wife and I have talked about eating food, I don't know, for 23 years we've been together. I've never heard her say, maybe we shouldn't do sushi, and then me go, but it's really good sushi, and her go, yeah, no, I'm sold. I'm talked into it. It was a very weird 180 for me, and it didn't match my life at all. So there you have it.
It's time for
Peak.
Peekaboo? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll go with Peekaboo. It's where we wonder what
Peacock in the Summer of Balls.
it's good as anything else. It's basically all we want to know is, are there any questions that we would like still answered? Alonso, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I did find myself thinking that the notion of Tom Cruise having a genie would be a very terrifying thing, and I'm really glad the movie didn't go there.
More than fair.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I would...
Give me Scientology for all for 500. A thing happens in this movie, and it's possible that they do explain it and I missed it, but unlimited wishes. Then he wishes that she doesn't have to be a genie anymore, and then she says, okay, we all know what that means, 3 more wishes. What happens to her? Like, when's her job done if someone doesn't wish for her to not be a genie anymore? When would she have gone back into the antique box had he not made that wish? If there are unlimited wishes, we all know, like in Aladdin, 3 wishes, and after the third, you're done. But in this one, it's unlimited wishes, which would lead me to believe that if it was my prerogative, I could have this genie for my whole life, and then when I die, does Genie go back in the box?
Does Genie go back in the box?
Do they explain that, Alonso?
No, that is a very good question, and I was sort of thinking about it and then not thinking about it, but now that you bring it up, yeah, they do not answer that, and it's like, what even happens, like... Yeah, because you think, well, okay, that if she outlives the person, but then would the person wish for immortality, and then, that is a theological question. This movie
because you could if you can't wish to live forever, you could wish that. Hey, like if I know I'm getting ready to die or I'm close, I'd be like, hey, I would like to pass my wishes now to my child. Like you could just keep that train going and.
Sure.
I wish that they had unlimited.
I wish that they also. I don't know. That's the unlimited wishes thing is great and wonderful, but it leads you to a lot of questions.
And pairing unlimited wishes with the aforementioned late stage capitalism that Alonso has talked about is just a terrible pairing for this guy to be like, you don't have to work. Like, come on, you can just have it. If you just get, it's just awful.
Wish for a trust fund, you know?
Yeah, mine was more, not my wish. My Peacock and Balls was the
for you.
No, I'm not going to go further, but I do. My question about the wishes is, what is the proximity and volume to which he has to say a wish near her for it to work? Because the whole thing in the prison doesn't make a lot of sense to me. He's there, she's there, and then he yells a wish out, but then it doesn't help right away. Then she when she realizes what she has to do, she does it, but
he's got to yell it into the loudspeaker.
Yeah, but
I think
earlier in the movie when she's at the whatever, and she sets up that romantic date for he and his ex-wife or, separated wife, she just comes back. She just literally, he doesn't wish her back. Like, she just comes back into that room. She can do whatever, she can travel wherever she wants without him wishing it, correct? Like, in that scene, he's done with his date. She just pops back in. She's just like, boom, I'm here. I better be gone. Boom, I'm gone. If that's the case, why is she stuck in a holding cell? Just, bam, I'm out of there. Like...
for the same reason that you can't time travel until you can time travel.
Fair enough. I figured that might be the answer. Bran?
We did it, everybody.
Yeah, we did.
Congratulations. We're having a great time going through these movies from 2023. We've seen some good ones. We've seen some bad ones. Let's find out what next week's will be, because we're heading over to a movie that originally dropped on Pluto. It's called A Christmas Family Secret.
Ooh.
I believe it is now on basically every VOD platform, but it was originally a Pluto acquisition. And last year we went to Pluto and we had a Karen Christmas, which wasn't
terrible.
Wasn't awful.
Yeah.
So
Christmas
Karen. Yes.
Karen Christmas.
We'll find out what happens next week. Until then, may we be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmarks of Bramble Jam podcast. It's presented by Philo TV. It's produced by Brandon Gray.
Wrong.
Deck the Hallmarks of Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.